All right, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone on the call. It is so amazing to see so many live participants on this topic and from all over the world. So, very excited and very warm welcome. This will be a good session. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time for an Employee Centered Academy, I want to set some context. These are monthly sessions, and these are essentially sessions that the product team conducts to answer your questions and provide you product deep dives. We don't want this to be a presentation. We literally want this to be a session where you are engaging with us and seeing the product being configured live. So just hold on. I'm seeing my.
Okay, I hope you can still hear me. I was just fixing my mic. Um, all right. So you will be seeing the product being configured live, and we will be back next month. Like I said, we have a session every month, and the thumb rule is we have an employee-centered academy session every third Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So our next one is going to be November 15th. So remember that. And once you register for any of these academy sessions, you are registered for the entire series. So you don't have to re-register for it. Now, in terms of logistics, um, we do request you to please put all your questions in the Q&A panel. With so many participants here, we are not monitoring the chat for questions. Chat is for comments. You want to interact with the global audience here. You want to share your comments, share your thoughts. Chat is for that. And we will make sure we go back and review all the chat comments later on, if not during the session. But we are actively reviewing the Q&A panel. So if you want your question to be answered, please put it on the Q&A panel. And this session is going to be available post-event for you. So essentially the slides and the video, both of them will be available. In fact, we put the video on YouTube, and there is an entire playlist of past Employee Centered Academy sessions that you can access along with this. It does take about a week or two to post this video on YouTube. So please be patient while we are while we are working on getting the video updated. So the most awaited thing, the topic for today, it's going to be Manager Hub, and I know a lot of you are super interested in this. We've been getting a lot of questions and queries around it as well. So we have a bunch of experts invited to help you answer those questions. So I will be leading the slides and giving you a brief intro on the Manager Hub. My name is Pooja Gupta, and I'm an outbound product manager with the Unified Employee Experience team at ServiceNow. This is the team that builds the entire front end product suite for ServiceNow. So things like Employee Center Pro, Now Mobile, and integrations with the other conversational interfaces like Teams. I'm joined with some of my esteemed colleagues. One is Alex, who is a solution consultant and will be helping us out with the demo. Alex, you want to just say hi?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Smith-Farine, and I'm a solution consultant here at ServiceNow, and I specialize in employee workflow. So I talk to customers every single day about this solution, and I'm very excited to bring it to life for you.
Thanks, Alex. We're also joined by Helen Pan, who works with many of our customers in her product success role and will be helping us provide like some of the additional implementation insights that she has heard from customers. Helen, you want to just say hi?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, Helen here. I'm a product success manager with our employer workflows team, specifically focused on HRSD, including Manager Hub. So happy to be here.
Thank you, Helen. Just wanted to make sure you all know these voices. We also have additional engineers joining these calls. So we have Shri as well as Venkat, who will be answering your questions in the Q&A panel. And we, of course, have Rohan Rasane as well, who will be helping us with the Q&A. So a lot of great panelists for you to dive deep. What will we cover? So like I said, I'll do the introduction to Manager Hub just via slide, but we will spend the bulk of our time doing a live demo. We will actually open up Manager Hub completely out of box on an instance and walk you through page by page, widget by widget on what exactly you should expect. Feel free to ask any questions that pop up on your mind, like how is this widget populated? How can I do X? We encourage all those questions. Now, just because in these events we tend to get a lot of generic questions, so I want to highlight a couple of forums where you could go for any questions that is not related to Manager Hub. So anything that you have around Employee Center deployment, whether it is just deploying the Employee Center for the first time, migrating from the service portal /SP portal, building the taxonomy or anything like around that, we have monthly office hours, which are again just Q&A based sessions where you can just come and ask questions. So our next session on that is actually in just 2 weeks. It's on October 31st, the day when we'll be celebrating Halloween in US. And it also repeats every last Tuesday of a month. So just like thumb rule for that is last Tuesday of a month, you will have an office hour where you can go and ask your generic employee center questions. Similar to this, if you are implementing Employee Center Pro, you will be deploying our employee communications capability, which are enabled through content experiences. So any questions around that this is a pretty rich terrain with things like employee news, microsites, campaigns, and so on. So questions related to that, we have an additional office hour, and the next one on that is November 2nd. And this is the first Thursday of every month. So hope you're taking notes and like taking these, but the slides will be available. So if you missed out on any, just be aware that these office hours are there and you can access from there. And last but not the least, we recently updated our Employee Center community. There's a lot more content on it, easier to find content. And this is a great place to just get product demos, FAQs, lots and lots more events, past recordings, trainings, and also release information. So our next release is in November 2nd. We will be posting a release blog over here, which goes deep into what are the features and capabilities that came out in that release in a lot more descriptive manner and with screenshots and so on. So I highly encourage you to refer the community. Okay, in the interest of time, let's dive deep into Manager Hub. That was a very quick intro around Employee Center, but let's get into Manager Hub. So let's start with why it matters. Why Manager Hub? Why should you even think about getting into an experience dedicated for managers? And in a nutshell, based on research from multiple different research companies across the past few years, managers are actually doing a difficult job. Like their world has changed. There is a lot of hybrid work, remote work. There is multiple generations working in the same environment, and you have to kind of cater to their all needs differently. People are switching jobs more frequently, and these managers are actually not served very well to or equipped to be able to face the new challenges that the place of work is putting in front of them. And how that impacts the employees, because the employee does not get the right coaching, does not get the does not feel valued by the employee, and then it's a cycle. They tend to switch more, there is less engagement, and ultimately the productivity of the employee goes down and the business suffers. So creating an experience that drives, that helps the managers do their job better, helps them be a more better leader, is extremely valuable and very helpful for the organization. So Manager Hub was designed with that lens. It's designed to provide additional visibility, is designed to help them focus and prioritize actions. It provides them additional insights and personalized content that helps them be a better leader. So you will see all of these aspects come out when we will do the demo. A little bit more into like what exactly Manager Hub is. So the way we like to describe it, it is the unified front door for everything that a manager would need to stay informed and engaged with their team. And this is everything that they would need from a team perspective, from the team perspective. And as you would see, a lot of this is based on integrations that are there on ServiceNow. There are a lot of based on AI and predictive intelligence capabilities. So there's a lot of proactive prompts. There's a lot of data that is being highlighted and communications that are being put front and central for the manager to be more effective. So I'm not getting super specific here because we will cover all of these details in the demo. Another thing I want to highlight is that Manager Hub is also available on Now Mobile. So if you do download the store app for Now Mobile, Manager Hub is available directly on the homepage for a manager persona, and it is available as you can see in the screenshots. The left screenshot shows a quick link to Manager Hub, so it's available as a quick link on the homepage. And what it does, it opens an embedded page. It's aligned with the portal view of the Manager Hub. So you don't have to do a lot of native mobile app configurations to get Manager Hub on mobile. So a lot of this is essentially just embedded web, which simplifies the implementation quite a bit. So any questions on this? Feel free to put on chat. We won't be going super deep on the mobile experience because we will be focusing more on the portal experience in this session. But if you have questions, please do put on chat. Now, the other thing I want to highlight is that everything that you will see today in the demo is the latest and the greatest that we have as part of our Vancouver release. But Manager Hub was actually launched in Tokyo. And you would see we have been adding additional capabilities as we moved from Tokyo to Utah to Vancouver. And we do tend to continuously invest in Manager Hub and potentially in future also look into additional persona-driven experiences similar to that of a manager. Now, the other question I get very often is licenses and who gets what depending on the license within the Manager Hub. So one thing to remember is that essentially Manager Hub only requires an EC Pro license. So however you achieve the EC Pro license, whether that is a standalone purchase, standalone buy, or it's part of your HRSD Enterprise, or Employee Growth and Development, which is our newer product, till the time you have Employee Center Pro, you have access to Manager Hub. Now, what content you see within it and what widgets you see varies based on the underlying license. So if you have Employee Center Pro standalone, you would get all the EC Pro, Employee Center Pro capabilities, such as targeted communications, or like activities like requests and approvals that are for the team, all the resources that you would want to highlight via quick links, all of that will be available with Employee Center Pro standalone SKU. As you add HRSD Pro, all of the HRSD Pro capabilities, like employee lifecycle events, HR data, and all the insights and prompts and employee cards, and also integration data like PTO balance, all of that can start becoming available. And this is just an illustration. So like you should refer to what you actually own. But I'm highlighting that as you add more in your underlying license, the more you get on the Manager Hub. Now, this is similar to what you would expect with Employee Center. So the more workflows underlying the portal that you would activate, the more richer your portal experience is. Similar to that, the more you activate underlying in Manager Hub, the more richer, the more content, the more data is available for the manager to draw insights from and to analyze and have additional suggestions and information around the employee. So not going too much deep here, but hopefully this point is clear and we can get into a demo. But let me just take a quick look at the Q&A panel if there is anything that we would want to highlight. So yeah, so I see one question. So Manager Hub is for people managers and not for service managers. That is absolutely correct. It is not designed for service. It is not designed for service delivery. It is just the people manager persona who has to invest in the team to understand their well-being, make sure their needs are being met quickly. For example, they have approvals pending. You want one place to see what are the approvals from my team, what requests they've been making to understand, if there's anything that you should do to help them out, and so on. So this is very much a people manager persona. Okay. Any other questions that you think we should highlight, Helen and Alex, before we jump into the demo?
No, I think we're good. There's a few questions I think around like how to pull in to-dos and how those are managed. So I think we'll get into that later.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, Alex, then I'm going to hand it over to you to just jump into the instance.
That sounds good. And you should all be seeing my screen with me right now. I'm logged in as an employee at an organization.
Yep.
Awesome. So we'll get started. So right now I'm logged in as a manager on the Now platform. So I have my centralized location here, really that front door for the organization. Talking about the platform, the beauty in it is if you know how to make an IT request, you're going to know how to make an HR request. And then, of course, managers are going to have all their resources here in one place, making it easy for them to be able to swivel in and out of different tasks they need to do and how they're supporting their teams across the organization. We'll just do a brief overview of the landing page and then get right into the Manager Hub just so we're all on the same page moving forward. But again, this is going to be that centralized location for her to be able to log in for her organization on a daily basis. These banners here are curated to her employee profile, so pulling different details about our manager, Maria. So again, having the understand that she is a manager, that she's going to need different sets of resources than employees in her organization. How can we help? That universal search request where she's going to be able to ask different questions, be able to find answers, and of course, support her employees through different knowledge articles she can see as well. Recommended for you, latest news. Again, widgets can be created and configured, really in thinking about the art of the possible, but this is just to show you a baseline of what the experience will look like starting here. And now we're going to get a little bit deeper into actually viewing Manager Hub. So we can see right here your team. And I have a few different resources that pop up that are available for me. And we're going to go into the Manager Hub directly and start here on our landing page. Now, this is being curated right now for her as a manager at this organization. So all of her resources that she needs are going to be one in central location, making it easy for her to navigate and find the resources she needs to support her team and just have visibility. Like Pooja was saying, the world that we work in today is very different than it was a few years ago. So sometimes we see that with our customers, their employees can be spread all across the world, that they can be in different types of on-sites, that even some are remote, some are hybrid, some are purely in office. And so what that can look like for a manager is having to juggle a lot of different set of needs for their employees, and keeping it all in one place is making that much easier for someone like Maria to have visibility to what their teams are working on and how she can best support them to be successful and drive against her business goals. Going down just a little bit deeper so we can see here all the time zones are being brought into consideration for Maria for different folks that are on our team that are based in different locations. We can keep track of what's going on by seeing different things that are being surfaced to Maria to grab her attention. We'll get in a little bit more detail about what these growth plans are, but this is really a part of the employee growth and development offering But of course, it's surfaced here to show you what it will look like in terms of how it surfaces in the Manager Hub. Her management tasks, her upcoming events, requests opened by her team. She has visibility, all of this in one place, making it easy for her to be able to keep track of her to-dos and stay on time and support her team in the ways that she can as these requests are opened. Intelligently making suggestions for her and the team. Again, this is going to be around a little bit more of the EGD world, but just seeing how it surfaces here and what the experience is like for the manager. And then going down just a little bit more, we can see we have employee voice, annual goals, coaching and feedback. All this is going to be configurable as well and can change based off your environment. So there might be different priorities that your organization has of resources you want to surface to your managers. Here, I'm really showing you what this vision can look like. But of course, thinking about those use cases you may have in mind, what you're trying to solve for and how you're trying to support them. These are different ways that you're going to see the examples surface, making it easier for someone like Maria to get the help she needs as a manager as well and support to be able to lead her team. Now, just to recap what we saw from our landing page from the Manager Hub perspective, again, this is that centralized location as a manager to utilize different resources and have it all pulled into one place, making it easy for her to have visibility into what her team is working on. Now we'll go a level bit deeper and see what it looks like for the team members that roll up to Maria.
Alex, let's just pause at this level and just take a I just want to highlight a couple more things. If you go back to Manager Hub.
Yeah, of course.
So, so if you would see, this is like this page is designed to be like what's most important and most central from a manager experience. And you can see, depending on like what SKUs you have underneath, different things will populate. So like over here, you see growth plan. This is part of our employee growth and development. You would see something else that might be here. So maybe there are approvals that are pending that can come up over here. So if you scroll down, Alex, the suggestions over here. So you see there is an aspiration suggestion, remind your team to create a growth plan. That's again employee growth and development. But essentially this widget is populated by something called proactive prompts, which is a separate store app dependent on Manager Hub. But this kind of gives you different prompts that we have configured out of box, but also prompts that you can configure for managers. For example, things like encourage work-life balance. Now, this could be based on this prompt could be based on the PTO balance the team members have taken. So there are different ways that you can actually create those prompts and make them available for the managers. Yep. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, no problem. Anything you want to add, Helen, before we move forward?
No, I think you got it there.
Awesome. So we'll all go forward a little bit deeper into the team members tab. So now just to really lay what the landscape looks like here, think of all the different employees that roll up to a manager and how they have visibility into them and really just have more insights. This is going to be that centralized place to see for a manager different types of employees that are rolling up to her. And in this case, even think about it for those high volume managers. So sometimes we hear from organizations that they can have a lot of hires under one team. So, right, 20 plus people can be a lot to keep in track, even 10 or less. But this is going to give you that centralized location, making it easier to see different attributes about your employees. So just going a little bit deeper down here, we can see our employees, what learnings they're actually working on. So maybe this is going to be more in terms of their growth plans. Again, that was kind of what Pooja was speaking to around employee growth and development. But we can see what they're actively working on and even the status. So if you have folks that are on leave, or maybe they're new hires, or they're currently transitioning to a different role or being offboarded, this is going to be able to give you that single pane of glass as well to understand where folks are in the organization and what these transition periods look like. There are multiple actions you can also take from this page. So not only can I see my employees and search for them and have them all in a central location. But I can also view different ways to have actions or even pop-ups I need. So again, I can look at my org chart. I can see their profile. If I have this integrated into my email, I can send them an email there directly as well. You can call them, you can assign learning, and you can even view articles as an employee. So if all the knowledge articles that you would have in your platform available to your employees, it can be scoped for you to be able to see what they have access to. Again, really getting granular down to those employee profile details to give you visibility of what their experience looks like, or maybe a knowledge article that is going to be relevant to them and you need to send to them. You could see what would be available to them and, of course, find it and then be able to send it to them as well if they've had a conversation where they were looking for assistance or guidance. We can see that 2 are on growth plans and 5 have learning. So again, surfacing a little bit more of what that EGD experience looks like when they are on these types of growth plans to move to the aspirations. But again, this is going to be that central spot for the different resources that we need as a manager, making it really easy for her to see where her folks are in the organization and what those transition periods even might look like. I'll pause there. Pooja, do you want to chime in on anything we just discussed?
No, I think everything is good. You already highlighted like the knowledge article view, right? That managers can have for the employee.
Yes, and we can see a little bit what the highlight looks like again, because this is a baseline instance we're using just to show you all what it's really out of the box. I can see what it starts to look like from the experience of searching for a knowledge article as Emily. And then if I populated it here, I would start getting the results for what she can see in her scope. Anything else from my team before we go forward?
No, none from my side. This looks good.
Awesome. We'll keep going and looking at team insights. So when talking about the platform, there's a lot of different ways to surface analytics and reports for employees of your organization. Having this team insights tab is one way that Maria as a manager is going to be able to have a pulse on what's going on in the organization and have a high level understanding just from using basic reports on a daily basis. So we can see here just from an out of the box perspective, a few different metrics that are being pulled for her across her team. So we can see PTO used by her team, PTO used by her skip level reports. Going down a little bit deeper, service and support. So what requests are trending on your team? How long does it take to complete the approval request? Again, this growth plan view is a little bit more EGD related, but capturing all that data in one place, making it easy for her to see and navigate. And something else I want to mention too, when we're just talking about the platform and analytics as a whole. So if we would like to configure this to be a little bit more personalized to what's going to be aligned with her agenda and her goals and how she's supporting her team, these types of analytics would be able to be surfaced here to give her that single pane of glass, making it easy for her to communicate with her leadership or be able to express maybe the needs she has or support she's missing. This is a way that we can show that information to Maria and deliver it to her, making it very easy and consumerized. But again, moving away from sometimes the manual processes or the intangibles that can be hard to capture in an organization. Instead, we're making it really crystal clear for her and delivering this all in one place in her manager hub.
And just as a FYI, from a configuration perspective, this is a mix of basic reports and performance analytics reports. So if you first load this page and have not run any of the performance analytics scheduled jobs, you'll want to make sure that you do run those jobs periodically so that the data can actually pull in for those PA related reports.
And the analytics that you see over here is what we have pre-configured. So you can, of course, use performance analytics and like add whatever other metrics that you would want to add. So if that is something that you're interested in, we can showcase on the back end. Like these are essentially just insights that you are drawing using metrics that you would want to showcase.
We can keep going just into more of the manager hub view. Anything else, team, before we go forward?
One more thing. Some of the widgets over here, like, the data that you see under service and support, they do require predictive intelligence scheduled jobs to be run. So you would need to just make sure all of those jobs are completed to see the data actually populate over here.
Thanks, Pooja. We'll go a little bit deeper now just into the growth plans. And we're keeping this high level, but we thought it would still be valuable for you all to see again and just what this experience looks like when it's surfaced in the manager hub. So looking this page directly, this is going to be a little bit more EGD related as well. And part of that solution offering, which is really just around how you're reskilling your workforce and making it very skills centric and how to be able to support them in that process. So in her manager hub, because this would be her central location for everything manager related, how she's working with her team, how she's supporting her team, we're seeing their growth activities surfaced here for her as well and what these plans look like, making it easier for her to interact and have everything in one place. And conversations will be really a part of more of that employee growth and development offering as well. So any conversations that she is having with her direct reports about the growth plans or really just about their learning and development in general will be surfaced here as well, making it easy for her to have everything she needs in one place. You can see here, there's not a ton of examples just because it's not really the focus of our discussion today, but wanted you all just have awareness of it as we're seeing it in her manager hub. Anything additionally from my team before we get into the manager library?
Nope, let's get into it.
Sounds good. And now we are going to go to one of our last tabs in the manager library. And here is going to be all of her resources again surfaced in one place. So you can see the theme of a lot of this is how are you going to provide support for your manager, especially in the different times that we work in. Again, we're centralizing all her resources, making it easy for her to be able to have what she needs at her fingertips and our curated portal. So there's a few different things she can focus on this quarter. We can look at our employee voice surveys. We can look at our annual goals, even coaching and feedback. But again, all of this is being surfaced here really with the intention of helping Maria be a great people leader and give her the tools she needs to make it easier for her to do her job, especially because there's going to be a lot of different things as a manager she's still responsible for. If it's hard for her to find her tools, her resources, ways to help her employees, it slows her down not only in her day-to-day role, just only not only as a people manager, but what she's trying to do and how she's trying to be actionable to get what she needs done. So again, surfacing this all in one place to make it really easy for her to navigate. And again, in a centralized portal, so she has everything she needs as an employee, but then also as a leader to support her teams. Some of these widgets here you can see as well. So this is a little bit more detailed from that first page. So getting in the view to actually see what her manager events are, her webinars and activities that she can join or even maybe share if they're more employee friendly to the team folks on her organization. Helpful resources that are being surfaced for her here intelligently as well. So again, sometimes these are going to change depending on what is relevant for managers at the time, because you're going to be using the platform and all the different data that you have stored in it, as well as different knowledge articles or catalog items. That's going to be surfaced here as well, just like you've probably seen in different demonstrations or for different experiences as employees. We're going to be using really that same foundation and understanding to make it easier for the manager and get them their deliverables all in one place. And even going a little bit deeper down here, we can see the career developments being surfaced more as well. So again, just kind of thinking along the lines of how you support a team, all the different hats that managers wear and how they make their team successful. We're really trying to give them all that information they need in one centralized location to make it easier to do their job and to give the employees they need support and guidance while they're also receiving as managers as well. And then even common questions that managers might have. So I'm sure there's a lot of common questions that folks in HR or even receiving from hiring managers. So again, trying to make it a more supportive experience for them and make it easier for them to do their day jobs by constantly surfacing this information based off of feedback you're receiving or maybe trends you're noticing. This is a great way to then reincorporate that information and make it easy and digestible for someone like Maria in an organization.
Hey, Alex. So we do have a couple of questions related to this, if we want to take that live here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so one of them was around like how do you go about mapping the content to different headings on this page, and all of this is managed via the content experience content management application, and so it's through like stylized content widgets here. And then also there was questions around, is there flexibility to change the layout and add columns or, change the layout of this page?
Yeah, and so yes, this is essentially how we have pre-populated all the existing widgets. So there is a style content widget, there is a content experiences widget. So we have kind of curated this experience by placing those widgets that are already available into this page view. So each of these tabs on Manager Hub are essentially pages that you can configure, just like how you would configure any other service portal page. So you would open this on Service Portal Designer, and you can move things around. You can add additional widgets and change the layout as you fit. And on Manager Library, like things to focus on this quarter, we got this question. This is styled content. If you go scroll down, Alex, a little bit. The first one over being a leader is actually a video widget. The helpful resources is a quick link widget. So these are essentially quick links that have been created the same way as you would create quick links for the homepage. And then further down, the hiring and transitions. This is just another one of the widgets that are available out of box. So essentially, these are a curated experience that we have shipped out of box and designed as per our design, our best practice design internally to create this list of manager resources. You can build your own using different widgets if you want. Okay. That brings me to one of very interesting question that someone asked. It says, how is Manager Hub managed? What is configurable by the manager versus the team versus like content managers and sysadmin and all of that? So in general, what widgets are placed, what the experience is, what tabs are available. So even the tabs are configurable, so you can always add an additional tab. There's a lot of instance options available, using which if Alex is logged in as Maria Davis, who's the manager, but if she logs in as the admin, she will have like instance options available on these widgets that you could use to change the configuration of these. All of that would be the admin, the portal admin. What content is visible on these widgets can be managed separately by content managers. So just like you would do on Employee Center Pro in general, the content experiences widget, the banner widget on front, what content is available is all through the content publishing module. Similarly, on Manager Hub as well, all these different things that you are using a content publishing widget for will all be managed directly through that. So you don't need a admin involved because the content managers can directly post content to it and tailor the resources available and what you want to highlight. When it comes to things like team insights, again, the admin would configure what data is available. So like what performance analytics widgets have been placed on team insights page. But that data is dynamic, so it dynamically picks based on the data for that manager's team. So it's going to be varied again based on that. So all of these different pieces, the experience, you require the portal admin. Content, you require the content creators. The managers cannot do a lot of changes on this. They can take a lot of actions. So another question we had received is, can a manager take action for team members' request? So if you would go, Alex, if you would just go on the team members page, so you can see like, you can have growth paths defined, have learnings assigned to them directly from here. You can even, like on that 3 dots that you have next to an employee, you can see like, I want to send an email, I want to call this person. And if you have additional integrations, you can have additional prompts available over here to take action. And the requests that are available on the Manager Hub page, like the first one, if you go on that, it opens up the regular refresh. So you like if you just open these, like if you go on all tasks, these are all the tasks that are associated with the manager for that manager. So it goes to the same page that is on employee. It just like helps you prioritize which ones to focus on that Manager Hub page. Okay. The other question that people were asking is, how do you configure the to-dos on this page? So I'm just going to take screen share just for a second, Alex, just so I can show them something. So this is the back end of I'm logged in as an admin. And if you go on Manager Hub over here, you can see all the different configurations, like, the teams filter, the daily stats, how you want to, all of these configurations are handled over here. And there is a to-dos mapping. So this is where, we are mapping what to-dos we want to highlight within Manager Hub. And okay, so I'm going to give it, so yeah, before that, we were talking about prompts and suggestions. There is something called proactive prompts, and here you can see like the signal configurations will give you all the signals. These are all the signals that have been built out of box, and you can build new, you can modify these, and you can see like the categories that they're associated. This is a learning based signal, this is a growth plan based signal, this is just career based signals, so this is well-being signals, this is based on PTO. So if you build more integrations, let's say you are bringing in data from Workday, you can use that data to build additional signals if you want, and all of that will be part of your insights that are available. And that brings me to the question that someone else was also asking, like, why would you want your managers to go on this experience versus going on Workday? It's just that this, and Alex, I would love to have you chime in on that question as well. From my perspective, the biggest advantage that Employee Center provides is creating that single one-stop shop that a manager would need to go to for everything about that employee. Now, that is from requests, from the service needs, to just generate the information that we have available within ServiceNow. But you can connect with multiple other systems and provide that unified space. So, for example, we have integrations with Concur, so you can bring approvals from there as well, and it will all be within the Manager Hub. So it's a much unified experience, and an experience that a manager is anyway accustomed to. So if employee center is your portal that the manager is going to get help, now this is also the portal that the manager is going to like address the needs of not just themselves but also their team. So it's just more seamless for them.
Exactly. And I can chime a little there too, Pooja. I think you summarized it though very perfectly. So speaking just to really that single front door, a lot of times what we find in organizations is that employees have a lot of different resources that they're going in between. And that can turn into a civil tour effect where sometimes it's really hard to figure out what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it. So using the platform really as the glue for your different integrations, for your HCM, giving them one central place. Again, going back to that idea, if I know how to make an IT request, I'm going to know how to make an HR request. I'm going to know how to make a legal request. You're bringing everything into one place. And then you're also reaching across departments, which typically our systems of record cannot do. But with using something like a ServiceNow workflow, you're going to be able to extend across departments, especially for those moments that matter that you'll see in Manager Hub a lot, right? So you're going to see different journeys, you're going to see different transitions that employees are taking. Usually we see with most organizations, that's not siloed to just one department that's involved. There's usually multiple. And so that would be really where you see the value of using the platform and bringing in your different integrations to create that unified experience.
Thank you, Alex. If there's any follow-up questions on that, I would say definitely reach out to your account team and schedule some time with us, and we can go further in. Another person is asking if there's a similar experience with an HRSD that behaves like Manager Hub. So I'm not aware of that. This is the manager experience that is shipped with it, like even with HRSD. And I don't know, Helen, if there's any other that you are aware of.
Sorry, Pooja, I missed the question. What was it?
So somebody was asking if there's any other similar experience for like that behaves like Manager Hub within HRSD.
No, at this time, Manager Hub is the one where we have a centralized kind of page geared towards a persona, in this case, the manager persona. I think which is not the focus of today, but if you were to do employee growth and development, there is kind of like a career page that is more focused towards employee career development. But as of right now, Manager Hub is the only one with this type of experience.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So I do see still additional questions. We're going to continue taking them, but in the interest of time, I'm going to walk you through a couple of additional things, such as best practices. So we got a lot of questions today, which was around how is a widget populated? How, and those are right questions. Those are the good questions that you should be asking. But ultimately, Manager Hub is a curated experience that we have built for managers using many of the widgets that you would see on it are pre-existing widgets, or some are new that we have created for managers. You would have to think through like how these widgets are populated. Maybe what we can do as a follow-up exercise is like kind of highlight each widget. This is a content experiences widget, so it's populated through that. This is a quick links widget, and that might help you. But just look at what that widget is and make sure the content is populated in a way that is specific to the managers. And one good way one of the other best practices that I had over here is like to enable or educate managers on how to use this functionality well, and like guided tours is one of the ways to do that. But I think along with that, now that I hear your questions, it is also helpful for content managers to understand how the manager hub is populated, so they are building the right kind of content focused on the manager. Then the experience that you saw today is what we ship out of box. We do encourage you to like tailor this experience, and make sure only relevant experience is highlighted. So like, if location widget is something that is not applicable to you, you can use instance options and update it, change it, and that is an option for many of the other widgets as well. So tailor the experience to make sure the only relevant information is highlighted. And to do that, we want to also highlight that Manager Hub supports custom tabs. So the tabs that you see are essentially just service portal pages. You may want to rearrange them. You may want to break them into two separate pages because you don't want that much scroll, or like let's say you want to have the suggestions or the prompts widget to be available on top of the team insights page. Do that. So we definitely encourage you to make this experience your own. And some of the additional configuration tips, we have blogs built on it, which are available on on our community site. So how do you create a custom tab? How do you configure to-do filters? We've been getting that question a lot. So we have covered them quite deeply in these articles. How do you manage your team data? What is visible? How do you populate the manager library? Again, we got questions around where is the upcoming events coming from? Where are the helpful resources coming from? These articles will help you there. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at those. Before we close, let's just take a look at the questions, and just to see if there's anything else that we would want to cover. Helen, Alex, anything that you would say?
No, I think you covered it, Pooja. I would definitely really highly recommend people looking at these blogs because they do go into a lot of details and depth on how very common questions on that we get on how to configure things. I think the other resource, Pooja, is the Now Create assets for Manager Hub. There is a deployment guide and a requirements workbook for Manager Hub specifically that would also be very helpful for people that are interested in deploying Manager Hub.
That's a very good call out, Helen. Thank you for bringing that up. Just like we have Now Create assets for Employee Center, we have dedicated Now Create assets for Manager Hub because it can be it's a whole experience to be built. So we want to provide you additional support. And a lot of the details that we was talking about, like the follow up that I was saying, where we were saying we will highlight how each of these are populated. A lot of it is done as part of the Now Create content as well. So we will be happy to get any feedback on it if you have anything additional. So again, everything you saw right now is shipped out of box. I see that in the comments. So we encourage you to personalize it, play around with it, and reach back to us if you have any additional questions. Other than that, thank you so much. We'll be here taking questions, but feel free to drop and have a great rest of your day.